So I'm happy to be joined here by the eternal lightweight champion, and in my opinion, the number one lightweight in the country, even though Tapology has him at fifth for some reason. Here with Quillan Salkilld. Thanks for joining.
Hey Ben, thanks for having me on, man.
So I wanted to get your mindset going into your rematch with Dom Marfan. How did it feel going into a fight where you've already beat the guy? So like, what is your mindset going into a fight like that?
My mindset going in, I'm always confident going in. This one, yeah, no different. I really felt like I was going to win. I didn't really see how I was going to lose, but I do have a lot of respect for Don Marfan's game. I know he's very dangerous, um, and my whole training camp going in, I was just thinking that this guy is putting in like 110% effort. You know, just knowing that he was putting in a whole lot of work and dedication trying to get that win back. So I really had to match the intensity of that in my own headspace.
Yeah, and I would say it was a better performance. Obviously, there was a bit of adversity in the first round, but like you were never in any trouble. You really neutralized his game off your back. Like he didn't really have any offense. And then, when you threw up that triangle, it seemed like
Yeah,
afterwards his game sort of crumbled. Would you
yeah,
agree with that assessment?
yeah. I agree. Yeah, yeah. I was stuck on the bottom for a bit. I probably should have started attacking stuff from guard a little bit sooner. Like I threw up one triangle a bit earlier on, but I was just kind of focused on trying to like get to like a position to re-wrestle. But I was kind of stuck. Like bottom guard, it's actually a hard position to re-wrestle from because you got both legs on either side of their hips. You can't turn at all. And he was good at not letting me get like my feet on his hips and like getting any frame. So I probably should have started, attacking the submissions off my back a bit sooner. But end of the day, it was you know, got the job done anyway.
Yeah, exactly. All worked out in the end.
Yeah, that's it.
So afterwards, you got your victory. You did like a little sign.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I like that. Has
yeah.
there been any contact since then with the UFC or anything like that?
No, not at the moment, but we're waiting and we're trying to really pushing to you know to get me an opportunity in there.
Yeah, for sure. If worst comes to worst, and you don't hear anything, are you looking to get on the June card, the June Eternal card?
Yeah, if I don't hear anything, no opportunities arise, then yeah, I'll be most likely on the June card and fighting the winner out of Toga and Becker.
And how do you see that fight with Josh Togo and Jack Becker going?
I see Becker taking that one. I see him implementing his strong grappling game, and I think maybe in the later rounds getting a submission or just controlling position, probably taking the back and maybe holding the back and getting the decision win. But yeah, I see Becker taking the W in that one.
Yeah, yeah, that should be a good fight.
Yeah,
There's some good fighters in the lightweight division, but
yeah,
obviously there's the between Hex and Eternal, there's some politics there, so it's hard to get all the
yeah,
fights going. But yeah, that should be a good fight. And yeah, I think I think you're UFC ready now. But
yeah,
obviously, if you get more experience, that's fucking worse for the guys in the UFC. You're gonna be even fucking
yeah,
better. Like, so it's the UFC making it hard for all them other guys. Already in the UFC.
yeah.
Uh, so I wanted to ask, you're originally from Broome, right?
Yeah, I was born in Perth, or like just a bit south of Perth in a place called Pinjarra, but I spent most of my childhood in Broome.
Yeah. So what was it like growing up in Broome?
Yeah, it was cool. It was like a small town. A lot of people. Yeah, everyone kind of knew each other. Yeah, had a solid group of friends that I'm still friends with to this day. All of us that we went to school with. We had our own group of like 5 6 of us, and we all still talk and hang out to this day, and we're all doing our own thing. Yeah, it was a good experience living in Broome. It was a very nice place, especially if you want to settle down. You like the outdoors life, fishing, camping. It's no other place better than Broome.
Yeah. And did your martial arts journey start when you were in Broome, or was it when you came back to Perth?
Nah, it started when I was down in Perth. I was playing footy up in Broome.
Okay.
That was my football journey. And then when I moved down here, Perth, I started doing MMA, and then everything changed.
Did you, when you were in Broome, like playing footy, did you ever get into any, scraps on the footy field or anything like that?
Not really. Not personally. No, yeah, it was pretty tame. I think more scraps happened down. I think more down this way. I think in Perth footy is a bit more. The style of footy is a bit different. Like up in Broome, it's a bit more fast paced. Like a lot of fast runners up there. So
Yeah.
yeah, down in Perth is a bit more physical. The game, a bit more slower pace and a lot more. What did they say? I don't know what the word is anymore. I've lost all my football knowledge now. But yeah, a lot more physical down here, up in Broome. A lot more, fast paced.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm actually a
Yeah,
country boy myself. I used to
yeah,
I grew up in Coogee, in the wheat belt, so when everyone was playing footy, it was so much more fast paced than coming to Perth. I mean, I don't even see anyone play footy, because so many English people here, they're all playing soccer. So
yeah,
yeah, yeah, it's a completely different game.
yeah. It
So
is.
obviously, there's a hex card this weekend, and
Yeah.
there is a lightweight fight, and one of the people in that fight is an old opponent of yours, Abdallah Baeta. So I just wanted to get your predictions for the fight between Abdallah Baeta and Harry Webb.
Yeah, I think Abdallah takes it. I think he's got too much maybe experience. Harry Webb does come out hard and fast, but I think with Abdullah's experience, he stays. He's faced an opponent similar to Harry Webb before with that aggression. So I think Abdallah will stay calm and composed, and in over 5 rounds, I think he'll slowly maybe pick apart Harry Webb. But you know, sometimes I hate to make predictions because MMA is a crazy game
Yeah.
and it can happen. But yeah, I'm going to put my money on Abdallah for that fight.
Yeah, and that should be a good one. And obviously, you got your teammate Cody Haddon fighting, so I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't even have to ask for a prediction on that one.
yeah, I think Cody first round man, like Cody, he's such a beast, man. Like I'm 2 weight classes heavier than him, and he's by far the hardest round in the gym. Like when I see him walking on sparring day, I'm like fuck, like every time, like, and he's only a fucking small guy, so and
Yeah,
he's making me like again get nervous before sparring day. So yeah, I don't see anyone beating him.
yeah, yeah. No, he's a fucking beast, and yeah,
Yeah,
I spoke to him last week. He's top bloke as well, top bloke.
yeah, such a good dude as well. Yeah,
Yeah. Now, he's from the same area as me, so we just build him tough here, I guess.
yeah, yeah. That's it, man.
But so do you watch UFC, or are you just compete in the sport, or are you actually a fan of like the UFC itself?
Yeah, I'm a fan of the UFC. I watch most of the cards. Not every single fight. Sometimes it's a bit too early, so whenever I wake up on a Sunday, I just chuck it on and watch and
And what goes through your head when you watch like the lightweight fights? Are you thinking, "Fuck, I reckon I can beat that guy"?
I do. I look at that. I like when there's like the fights between like featherweight to welterweight in that range. Then that's kind of like I see like the level, and then I compare it to myself, and yeah, really like to nitpick what they do.
Yeah, there's a specific fight, and I spoke to Harry Webb about this one as well, and I agree with it with you as well. This Darius Flowers guy, he fought Michael Johnson. I see so many guys in the Australian lightweight scene that would beat this guy. Like he was like 12-7 or 12-8 or something like that, and he was in the UFC. Like it just blows my mind. There's guys like that in the UFC when you're on the regional scene grinding to get a shot, and they're letting guys like that in the UFC.
Yeah, yeah. I think man, like the Australian MMA scene is high level. Like even watching the local shows, seeing the skill that's implemented like regionally is very high level. Like compared to like a lot of other places around the world. So yeah, I see a lot of I see like another big wave of Aussies making it into the UFC and really really killing it.
Yeah, I agree. Just I mean, look at Cody Haddon versus Steve Erceg for a fight. Like
Yeah,
that's like one of the most high level fights. And now look at Steve Erceg; he's gone in there and he's killing it in the UFC. And
yeah,
nobody's been as close with Steve Erceg in the UFC as Cody has. He did better than the number 10 flyweight in the world did. Like, you just got to look
yeah,
at it that way.
yeah, man. Like, yeah, it's crazy what yeah, it's crazy how far like the sports come like locally, man. Like everyone seems to just love it, and everyone who does this sport really like lives and breathes it over here. Like there's no, not many like hobbyists that are fighting. Like everyone's doing this as a career.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you'll see a lot of guys in America. It's like somebody will come fight when they're like 45 or something like that. They're like a
Yeah,
hobbyist,
yeah,
and
yeah. Just for a bit
yeah,
of fun.
yeah, go in there like absolutely smoked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, you talking about like the next wave of Australian fighters. Obviously yourself and Cody, but who else do you see being a part of that new wave?
Man, I definitely see Abdullah getting in there. I'm surprised that he's actually not in there at the moment. What's he 9-1 now, 7-5
Yeah,
win streak. Multiple divisions. Um, Man, yeah, I think he really deserves to get in there, and he has the accolades, and I think he's proven himself.
yeah, absolutely. He went in there. He actually fought the guy you were meant to fight on the road to UFC, which probably
Yeah, he
segued.
did. Yeah,
Yeah.
smoked him. Yeah.
Yes, I bet I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
Yes.
no,
So
good
yeah,
sport.
I want to actually talk about that because obviously I made a video because I was pissed off that you got fucked over with that whole
Yeah,
situation with the.
I seen that video, man. Yeah, I appreciate that. It was cool to
Yeah,
see, man. Thank you.
I was whole week I was excited to watch you on the road to UFC. I was like, oh fuck, I don't really care about these other fights on the road to UFC, but at least Quillan's gonna be fighting. And the next minute, I
Yeah,
see some fucking got fat cunts miss weight, and then you get fucked over for it. It's like, why do you get punished?
man, that was a tough moment and like such a surprise. Like made weight, and it's been an hour. We went back to the place to do like the ceremonials, and then getting called aside by Sean Shelby to pretty much say that the fight's off. Sorry, and then it's like it was a whole lot of emotions going through. Like I didn't believe it to begin with. Like at the start, I was like, oh shit, fucking talking to Sean Shelby right now. Holy shit! Like took a minute to process. Like when he said it, I didn't really I didn't process it at the time until I actually went back and told my coach, and then I was like, oh shit, yeah, this fight's off, and then it really started to hit right then.
Was like a thought in your head, like, let me fight the fucking cunt that missed weight? Was that like a thought that went through your head or anything like that?
Yeah, to begin with, but he not only did he miss weight, but he didn't pass the medicals as well.
Oh, yeah.
So so he was properly cooked from that weight cut. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand when like fighters do weight cuts like that. Like he obviously would have known he wasn't going to make weight because he missed weight by like 6 pounds or something like crazy
Yeah, he
like
missed
that.
weight by a fair bit, and he was in the same like warm up room as us. So so we seen him like all week, like cutting weight, just looking. Yeah, he looked pretty drawn out the whole week. Like I remember seeing him, he just wasn't doing much. Like even when he was hitting pads, he was just in a sweatsuit and just trotting along, like doing fuck all pretty much. So he looked
Yeah, he
pretty
was
drained to begin with. Yeah.
yeah. Fuck man, yeah. That I was pissed off about that. Like I know that you were probably even more pissed off than me, but I was generally like I was fucking so pissed
Yeah.
off about it. Uh, Speaking of like weight cutting and everything like that, do you have like a big weight cut down to lightweight?
Yeah, I have a fairly big cut. I do in the week. I do like 7.5 kilos, which probably not as much as some people, but I've got a good like weight cut regime that I do. I follow some good protocols to make that process as easy as possible. So I'm not like dying to make weight, but I'm at the limit where where it starts to get feel real shit.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you'd never be able to make like featherweight for sure. That'd
I'll
be
never be
impossible.
able to make featherweight. Yeah, lightweight's the limit, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything below 70 kilos is
No go.
not
Yeah.
happening. Yeah.
I mean, that just shows how fucking incredible it is that Abdallah Bayeda can make, featherweight the featherweight limit.
Yeah. That's crazy. He's tall as he's a big lightweight and he's making featherweight. So the weight might just, shred off of him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. You look at him, he's like, "Fuck, this is a guy fighting at the same weight class as like fucking
Yeah,
Volkanovski."
I hate to be a featherweight coming against, like an average size featherweight's what, like 5'7" or something, and then
Yeah, like
coming up
5'7".
against some 6'1", 6'2" Abdallah.
Yeah, fucking 80 inch.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really reminds me a lot. And this is a fight, I ask every Australian lightweight this because he seems to fight all of us. But fighting someone like Abdallah, it prepares you for fighting Jarlin Turner, who seems to have an agenda against all the Australian fighters because he's fought like fucking five of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's always matched up against the Aussies, that Jarlin.
Yeah. It's just someone I always got to ask, like, have you ever thought about that matchup? Just, get one back for the Aussies?
Actually, I have. I've always thought that, like within my first few fights in the UFC, I was like, I'm probably going to get matched up against him. So I've always, watched his fights and, I take some notes and, in my mind and, yeah, kind of like mentally prepare until till one day that day might come.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I always it's so weird because if you look at his topology, all the fights he's had, the only two cancel fight he has were against Australian guys as well. Like I don't know if it's in his contract to get like, oceanic fighters or something, but it's so fucking odd.
He's fighting with the Anzacs.
Speaking of that, like who was your like inspiration, like fighters coming up, like to get you into martial arts? Did you have any fighters that you really looked up to?
Yeah, man. To begin with, it was Conor, man.
Yeah,
classic. It was because I first got into the sport by playing the UFC 2 game. One of my mates introduced me. Like, I was like 16. Went over to his place and he's like, let's play this game. We was playing 1-on-1. On UFC 2, and then he was showing me like Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz highlights, and that was like my very first introduction to the sport. And then I ended up getting the game for myself. And obviously Connor's on the front, so he's like the first person I search up, and then fell in love with the sport from then. And then even on my way to footy training, I'm watching Conor McGregor motivational shit and highlights, and I'm like getting ready to pumping myself up for footy training. So yeah, that was the start.
It's funny you mentioned that. Today I went for a long walk for like 3 hours today, and I was literally listening to Conor McGregor motivational videos as I was walking.
It was different. That featherweight Conor was something else, man. Something else.
Yeah, I love going back and watching like the Conor McGregor. There's like a video and it's like Conor McGregor versus the featherweight division. And it was just like
I've seen that exact one. That's one of the ones I used to watch on the way to footy training.
Yeah. It's fun. It's and the song playing in the background is like "Run Boy Run." I think.
Yeah, Run Boy.
Yeah. That's the fucking video.
Yeah, I see it.
Every time I wouldn't want to get up and go for a run or something like that, I'd watch that video and it'd get me so fucking pumped up. So I can imagine how it makes you feel.
Still, to this day, still pumps me up. Yep. Yeah.
Do you think Conor's going to fight again? Like, do you think he is going to fight Chandler?
I don't know. I hope so. I hope so. I just like every time he fights, the build up and the fight's always very entertaining. So yeah, I hope so. But I'm not sure with what's going on with him at the moment.
Yeah. It seems like he wants to fight, but I don't know. It seems like some weird backstage politics or something going on.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, probably.
So I probably don't even have to ask this, but I would imagine like Conor is like one of the fights you want the most. If you could like have a dream fight, would it be Conor McGregor?
Hey, that's it. Red panty night, mate. Panty
night. I thought who needs to ask? I think everyone wants to.
Who needs to ask that?
But outside of the red panty night, is there any like fights like you see guys in the UFC now and it's like, fuck, I'd love to test my skills against them guys like right now?
Yeah, man, like anyone, like all the dangerous fights are like, Gaethje and Poirier. Like I always think about matching matching up against them and what I'd do. And yeah, someone like that would really like imagine fighting like a Justin Gaethje that would be exhilarating. Yeah, and even the whole prep leading up to that, you'd be like, yeah, that'd be good.
This might be a really random one, but a fight I would love to see you have would be against Mateus Gamrot, because he's like real pressure forward type guy. And you're really good. You have really good cardio as well. Like I feel like that'd be a really good back and forth fight.
Yeah, that'd be a fun fight. I reckon that'd be a lot of grappling exchanges in that one.
Yeah, a lot of good scrambling. I like your scrambling ability. You know, obviously you got taken down by Don Marfan early, but most of the time you're scrambling. Well, I mean, you showed your good ability in the second round, but you know, you're scrambling.
If I can't scramble, man.
Your scrambling is fucking crazy. Like you're scrambling against I forgot his name, the American guy.
Pastor.
Yeah, Brett Pastori. Your scrambling in that fight was fucking awesome. Just scrambling all over the place. You'd go for a takedown, just scramble out of it. Even the first Don Marfan fight, your scrambling is fucking crazy. So I'd love to see you fight someone like Mateus Gamrot, who's just going to be shooting takedown after takedown.
Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah, I was like, man, I love wrestling, man. That's my favorite session of the week. We have like a Tuesday morning, wrestling practice, and that's I always wake up Tuesday morning like pumped up, ready to go and grapple.
Yeah. That was the first martial art I did was wrestling. So, first thing in the morning, I used to train at Evolution in Wangara, and the first class in the morning, it's like you get up at like 7 a.m. and you're just doing cardio for an hour, and then it's half an hour of wrestling. It's the fucking hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah, it's very tough, man.
Yeah. But and obviously it works for you, because I was going to ask, your fucking cardio is some of the best cardio in the scene. Like you have crazy output, crazy pace, and you fucking don't seem to get tired.
Yeah, it's just work, just getting the rounds in, and I've always had a bit of a natural, ability to, I think it's one of my natural physical talents is been like conditioning or cardio, like maybe translate over from footy. I've done a shit ton of running when I was in my footy days, and then now just doing rounds and rounds, and just knowing when to burst and when not to is plays dividends in cardio as well.
Yeah, for sure. Like how long did you actually play footy for?
I played for a long time, ever since I was probably 6 years old, and then I only had I think I had 2 years off when I was playing. When I was not playing, I was when I was skateboarding. So when I was 13, 14, I stopped playing, and then I played from there 15, 16, 17.
Yeah, so footy, rugby. Did you play any rugby too?
No rugby. Just football and just footy and skateboarding was my hobbies growing up. Yeah.
It seems like if you do a bit of footy and a bit of rugby, that's like you're just going to be an elite Australian fighter at this point. It seems like
the next thing's going to be skateboarding. It's going to be the next prerequisite to fighting. It's rugby. It's rugby now, but it's going to be skateboarding soon.
Did you ever do any competitive skateboarding or anything like that?
Oh, not really. There was a couple of local comps up in Broome that I did, but it wasn't like there was big competition around. It was just me and my mates, pretty much.
Yeah. Did you ever play any of them Tony Hawk games as a kid?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I played I can't remember which one it was, but yeah, I played one of the Tony Hawk games and Skate 3 as well. That's probably my favorite one. That's a good one. Yeah. I still play sometimes to this day.
You got to play with the classics.
To this day, yeah.
So, do you play many games, or besides skate?
Not many. Probably the past 2 years, I've really stopped. But I used to be quite the big gamer. Every spare moment I have would have been playing Xbox. Especially the first few years, fighting would be training in the morning, go home, obviously have lunch and fucking play video games, and then train again at night. Then come back, play video games, and go to sleep. And that was my routine for a couple of years. But now now it just I've just lost a bit of interest now.
Yeah, just more strict as well. You know, you're more full-time fighting now, I'd imagine, than back
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you work or anything, or are you just strictly all just fighting?
No, I haven't worked since I was since I was like 18. I've only had like one proper job. Like
Yeah.
when I first moved to Perth, I got a job as a removalist, and I
Oh
did
yeah.
like probably like 6 months of that, and then I had enough. Started fighting instead.
No, you know, when you found your dream and you found your passion and you're fucking good at it, it's like, why not just go, you know, balls to the wall?
Yeah, I've been lucky in that because my parents have always supported that dream. So that's allowed me to just focus 110% on just becoming the best fighter.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you can see how much your parents support you, especially when you KO'd Blake Donnelly in
Oh
the
yeah,
internal
my mum
posters.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I don't know if you've seen this, but every person besides the Ukrainian guy you lost to in Gamma, every single person who's beat you, they haven't fought since they fought you. So maybe there's some like, I don't know, maybe they fight you and they're, oh fuck, I'm not cut out for this. Even if they beat you, have you seen that?
Yeah, I've noticed that. It was yeah, I think that's quite funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that yeah, I wonder what that Ukrainian dude's up to. I've seen it, his record's quite good. He's quite
yeah,
good at the moment. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, he was a pro coming into that fight. I didn't know that at the
yeah,
time. So he was like 4-0 as a pro. And I'm like some amateur fighting here, but I did all right too until that. Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah, that's good.
How did that fight go? Did it go to decision or?
Nah, he got some weird like rear naked choke variant on me. 'Cause
Oh
we both had like this same build, like tall and skinny, and especially like um that was when I was walking around at 70 as well. So at that Gamma we had to weigh in 3 days in a row prior to actually competing, and I
fuck.
didn't want to sauna cut those days, so I pretty much rocked up there like on weight. Like I remember the first day I weighed in like 68.5 kilos, walking around with no sauna cuts. I was skinny as, and then yeah, in the fight, he had like my back, and I TP'd up to try to like get him to slide off. Then as I TP'd up, when my arms were like above my head, he got like this choke around my armpit as well, and he had like long arms as well, so he got it right around. And when he first sunk in, I thought this is not going to work. Like, what's this bullshit? And then he ended up hipping in, and then broke my posture down, and then it was fucking tight. And then I had to tap from that. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was a good learning experience for me.
Yeah, and you know, when you fight those like Eastern European type guys, they all seem to have some weird variations of all sorts of
Yeah, yeah,
like that.
we I've never seen that before, and now still to this day, like people try to go for it, but I think I'm a bit more thicker now, so it'll be harder to get.
Yeah, you know, have you been doing a lot more strength and conditioning since then?
Yeah, the strength and conditioning really picked up probably just about a year ago. I started training with my current strength coach. A lot of kettlebells and gymnastics, and that's played a big role in my overall just game. Just I feel just so strong, like even against all my opponents. Just like I just feel stronger than them.
Yeah, yeah, and you can see it as well, especially like, you know, against Nam Stevens, you know, you just took him down, beat him up pretty early.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, like looking at it, you know, strength and conditioning is like some of the most important things. You see a lot of guys, they even in the UFC, they get into strength and conditioning when they're like, you know, they're like 6 fights in their UFC career. So, you know, for you to already be doing that and everything, it's, you know, pretty good, you know, on the regional scene.
Yeah, I'm big on the strength. Like, I don't really do much like conditioning like outside of like actually just like training. Like I don't do any like road work or bike or sprints or anything. Like the only thing I'll do is like on the assault bike. That's like the only thing outside, but it's mainly like strength stuff I do with like say my strength and conditioning coach, and then all my actual fitness stuff comes from like hitting pads and and grappling and sparring.
Yeah. I wanted to touch up on, because I watched some of your Muay Thai fights. I just wanted to know, how many Muay Thai fights have you had?
I've had three Muay Thai fights.
Yeah, I watched them. I thought one of them, I thought you probably should have won, but I think they gave it to the other guy.
First one, I watched it back a few times. That was my first one. It was pretty close, but I think with the Muay Thai rule set and the scoring system, I think they probably should give it to the opponent there. I try to watch it non-biasedly.
Yeah.
And, I was watching it for a while after it happened, and I was like, I should have won that. And then the next time it's like, I see how they scored it for him. And then I watch it again, and I was like, fuck, that should have been me. And it was good, like close fight. It was the first time actually like standing and striking with someone for like an extended period of time. Because up until that moment, all my wins in MMA have been by like submission at that point, and all just grappling. So it's hard not to initiate the grappling like as soon as possible. So really, going to a sport where you're forced to stand and strike with someone, really helped gain like confidence in my stand up.
And do you know if he's fought since he beat you?
Yeah, he's fought a few times since he. Yeah,
okay, so he's not a part of the curse.
He got a WBC title as well, so that's a.
Okay, well, so it's not too bad then.
It's not too bad yet.
Yeah, I feel like it's good if you lose to someone and they go on and they go on and achieve some really good things. It's like, all right, I'm fucking okay with losing that fluke.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
When was your last Muay Thai fight?
The start of 2022.
Oh, okay, so pretty recently then.
Yeah. So I think it was March 22.
Okay, yeah, cool. So is that your like primary striking base? Because you got some pretty good hands as well. I like that you mix it up to the body quite a lot. You go body head quite well.
Yeah, I've done some boxing, no boxing fights, but yeah, I like to throw hands, and yeah, I think sparring a lot with Cody has developed some of my boxing skills, because his boxing's like second to none. So sparring with him all the time, and it's really forced me to really be sharp with the hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, some of the combos you were landing on Pastore were fucking very clean. Even that combo you got on a Don Marfan, I think it was body head, then it was the kick up top. That was a beautiful combo.
That was my favorite part of the fight.
Yeah, that was so
clean. Jab fake, body rip, which landed clean, and then the head kick that landed clean, and then I landed southpaw, and then through the cross, which also landed clean. So it was like 3 clean strikes back to back that landed flush, and I was like, "Ooh, yeah, that felt nice."
That was fucking. I've seen. I was like, "Oh, that's a fucking nice comment." I went and posted that to Twitter afterwards. I was like, "Yeah, I have to show that highlight."
That was the main thing I wanted to watch after the fight. Like, I didn't even care about the rest of it. I just wanted to see that combo.
That was a thing of beauty. Yeah, I love seeing combos like that. Like fucking, it's not like you're not like just widely swinging. Like that's perfect technique there.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
Happy with
so
that.
Do you describe yourself as more of a like grappler? Obviously, wrestling is your love, like you say. So do you describe it? Or you are very well rounded, but it's like grappling. That's your main focus.
Not my main focus, but I think with like how my fights have gone, it's hard to not say that say my grappling's like my strength. But we'll see. How things change in the future. Maybe one day people are going to be saying that I'm more striking based. So
yeah,
I work everything just as hard as as anything else. So it's just showing that my grappling has just been more superior than the guys I faced.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's good that you're so well rounded. Mixing up the wrestling really well, mixing up the striking. Then when you get to the UFC, maybe you find someone who's got such elite takedown defense that all their Muay Thai fights will come in handy, and it'll just be a pure striking fight.
Yeah, I'm going to be prepared for that day.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I actually seen that Dana White Contender Series is going to be later this year, like the normal. I think it's going to be like October or something like that. So I guess maybe you would probably be best because you like to stay active, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to wait that long.
yeah, exactly.
Just put me straight in. Hopefully they just chuck me in. I don't need to put me in, mate.
Just have you fill in as a backup for Islam versus
Yeah,
Charles.
yeah. In a heartbeat.
Yeah, fucking. I always watch the fights, and I'm always thinking about like fighters like you in there. People like Harry Webb. Just I'm always thinking about like the lightweights, like how our guys match up with their guys. Like I
Yeah,
even look at the Cage Warriors guys. Like I think that you guys. I feel like the Australian scene's better than the British scene at this point.
yeah, yeah. We've come in. We're the next wave of the feared country. It used to be that right. I don't know if it's still now, but it used to be like the Dagestanis and the Brazilians, and now it's going to be the Aussies. Then when you sign to fight an Aussie, everyone's going to be shitting their pants.
I even look at it like because Dagestan's like a little part of Russia. I'm looking at Perth as like our Dagestan at this point because fucking
Yeah.
Della, Herseg, Cody coming up, you coming up, like.
You don't want to fight a guy from Perth, man. You don't want to fight a guy from Perth.
You'll be fucking people be looking to sign a fight against some cunt from fucking Dagestan at this point and fighting someone from Perth.
Something different over here, mate. Something.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Just I don't know. I guess there's not much to do in Perth sometimes. So all we got to do is go and fucking
forced just to live and breathe MMA, pretty much.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Have you ever trained with a JDM or Ursig or anything like that?
No, I've never trained with them lads. Yeah, I think I'll probably never will train until maybe I'm more established in the UFC because I know maybe it's scrappy because there's Jack Becker's based out of there, so there's always that possibility for match up there. So yeah, it'll be hard to cross train, but one day probably we'll get there.
Because has LCA been the only gym you've trained out of?
Yeah, I trained Muay Thai and fought out of Synergy as well. When I had my Muay Thai fight, so I did like my Muay Thai camps there, and we're like a brother gym to us. The two like owners of those gyms, my coach and the owner of Synergy are like really really good friends. So we all the lads there cross train.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Ramel seems like a really good coach as well. Like he seems really passionate about like all you guys. Like even if you watch the prelims or like Eternal, you see like him in the amateur guys' corners, and see him in like your corner and stuff like that. You see, he gives the same energy with his fighters.
Yeah, he's such a great coach, and passion is a word to describe it, man. Like I remember the first time I really like hung out with him. I went to a fight show. It was when Hex was in Perth last, like years ago, 2018, before I fought. And then, pretty much, I was just hanging out with him all night. I rocked up to the show myself, and I saw him at the front, and he was like, "Come with me," and he kind of like took me under his wing like that night. And then at the end, we went back. We sat in his car, and he was just talking about MMA for like hours, man. This was like at 1 a.m. And I just kind of wanted to go home, but at the same time, I wanted to listen. But he was just talking for ages, didn't want to shut up. So, that was my first experience with first time hanging out with my coach properly, and that's when I really knew that this was probably the guy to train with forever.
Yeah, you can just tell. Like he seems very passionate. He seems like a really good coach, and he's got a future son for his son's probably a future UFC fighter as well. I've seen some of Rook's training footage as well. He looks pretty good.
Yeah, man, he's gotten a hell of a lot better this past I think his year, like just everything. He's actually looking like smooth, like on the feet and in the grappling now. So, and he loves it just as much as his dad does. So. Yeah, one day I'll definitely see him, making some noise in the MMA scene.
Yeah, absolutely. So your whole career has been out of Eternal, if I'm pretty sure, right? I know your whole pro career, but outside of that Gamma fight, has all your amateur fights been in Eternal as well?
No, I had 2 fights on Path to Hex in my amateur scene, and I fought on XFC once as well. And that's it. Just those 3 fights outside of Gamma that weren't on Eternal. But most of my fights been on Eternal, man.
What had you like? I'm not because I'm not really familiar with Gamma. Obviously, I've seen some people's records with it. Like, what was? Is there like a like? How do I even word this? Like, do you just get invited to it, or do you sign up to it? Like, what's the process behind joining Gamma?
I how I got in. I think I just signed up for it. I think at the time, I think my coach just put my name forward, and then yeah, they're like, yep, we got this. Yeah, the first Gamma team, the first Australian team to go over. So yeah, it was just like a put your name forward, and then they accepted, added you to the team, and then went over, and yeah, there was I think it's much more like well established now. I think that was like
Yeah.
the one I did was like the very first one, so it was still a bit, with how you going. So yeah, I think now it's much more, I know, like say professional.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it gives you a good insight into like international talent and everything like that. Because obviously you're not fighting Australians in Gamma, you're fighting guys from overseas. Like who was outside of the Ukrainian guy? What was? Do you remember what country the first guy you fought was from?
Yeah, I fought a guy from India.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
How'd that fight go? Obviously you won, but like, did you finish him?
Yeah, I finished it rear naked choke in the first. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Ugly fight. I watched it. Then it was like, damn, that was disgusting. But but one. I can't watch my old fights, man. Now, like it's just
Yeah,
I just cringe. Like,
yeah, I feel that. It's like watching like a video back of yourself as like a kid, and you hear your voice. It's like, yeah, well, that's fucking gross. You're looking back and you're like, oh fuck, I'm throwing
yeah,
punches. It's good.
yeah,
I'm not doing my takedowns as well.
yeah. That's me. I can't do it. All my amateur fights is hard to watch. Yeah,
Yeah, well, I mean, your fight with Abdallah, that was an amateur fight. That was a pretty good performance,
yeah,
though. Yeah,
yeah. That was good. I can watch that one, and maybe
yeah.
the one or two before that. But then mainly the earlier ones that
I
yeah.
was actually speaking on that. I wanted to know how come your fight with Abdallah was like 3-5. Yeah, it was 3 5-minute rounds, but it was amateur. What was the reasoning behind that?
I think because it was on Fight Pass.
Okay, so how come it was still an amateur fight though?
Just because. It's made to look like a pro fight, but the
Yeah,
amateur fight.
I'd imagine you weren't allowed to throw elbows or something like that. That's probably what it
Yeah,
was.
no, it was allowed. Yeah,
Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of
but
sense.
it was just pretty. Yeah, it was a good like transition to pro because
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
like kind of pro, but not quite there. So it was like the next step is actually
yeah.
pro.
Oh, you fought with PFL rule sets because that's what they do in PFL. Because obviously you're not allowed to throw elbows in the PFL.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah,
yeah. Which I hate that rule though in the PFL.
yeah,
Like I think that's one of the worst rules. Like it's not mixed
yeah,
martial arts and you can't throw elbows.
yeah, man. Elbows changed the game. They changed
Yeah,
the game, especially with the ground and pound. Like being able to hurt someone without actually really creating a lot of space is it's a big thing. Like still being able to stay tight to control them and being able to damage at the same time is a big thing.
yeah, absolutely. And then
Yeah,
also like if you're like you've got Muay Thai fights. If you're a Muay Thai practitioner, if you're in the clinch, when you break off from the clinch, you want to elbow people, but if you can't,
yeah,
like yeah, it really neutralizes
yeah,
what you can do in the clinch.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's just stupid that sort of rule.
yeah.
Uh, so I wanted to ask, like, who are some of the fighters outside of in LCA who people should be looking out for?
Yeah, we got some good upcoming amateurs coming up. We got a guy named Ashley Rogers who's come through the past. He's been training us for like only like a couple of years, but the progress he's made is been crazy. He comes from a judo background, and he just does the same as myself and Cody. Just lives and breathes MMA, man. He just comes in every day, rocks up to every session, and just puts in the work, and he's gonna be a big thing soon. And also one of my other like main training partners, we got Stephen Wong. Same thing. He has like a full-time job, and he still comes in all the time. He's the most probably like disciplined person I've seen. He's had like 2 hip surgeries, 2 knee surgeries, and I've seen him for like a year and a half just come in and just do the same old boring rehab stuff, bit of shadow boxing, and then that's it. And then slowly building towards, coming back to full training, and then coming back fighting and being like real successful in his fights and being a really solid training partner for me.
Yeah, and what weight class is he?
He's a lightweight, so yeah, perfect size for me to try to with each other. Both of them as well, both lightweights.
Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, that's perfect for you then. It's always good to have more bodies around, to train with.
Yeah.
But like you say, Cody's still your hardest round, even though he's 2 weight classes smaller. So
yeah, and I spar with boys bigger than me, and I'd rather spar them than little Cody. He's a menace. I fucking hate it. It's just his pace, and he's strong for his size as well. Can't hold him down. He just throws fucking 40 hit combos at you. It's hard work, man.
Yeah, and Cody himself was telling me how obviously his hard rounds are with you, but also I think you said Annie Thatcher gives him some of the hardest rounds as well.
Man, yeah, she's a beast, man. I've only sparred her a few times, but it's like you gotta give all the respect she deserves. Like usually say you spar with girls and you gotta hold back, but I'm not holding back. I'm trying to win.
And obviously, she got a really big win on the weekend as well at XFC. Yeah.
Great performance. Yeah, I watched it live. Cool, real technical. Nice slick armbar. Yeah, she's got a great like bottom jiu-jitsu game. Very dangerous guard, and that showed. Great performance. Good to see her. I think she's had quite a long layoff off of MMA. It's been hard to get her fights. And then it's really, really cool to see her come back and get a solid victory.
Yeah, and I can see why some of the women wouldn't want to fight her. Some of the men in the gym are scared to spar her. I can only imagine how it would be for women. Yeah. So just before we end this, I wanted to just talk about some hypothetical matchups in the UFC I would like to see for you. And I'm going to start with a fight that I think everyone wants this fight, but I want to see you versus Paddy Pimblett. I think right now you could probably beat Paddy Pimblett.
Yeah, I think so too, man. He's annoying, eh? Like, I don't know why is that. He just what's it say? Like, rubs me the wrong way. Like,
yeah,
I think I smash him at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can only imagine, in the future as well, by the time you probably do fight Paddy Pimblett. I mean, Paddy Pimblett is probably going to be like a fucking heavyweight by the time you get to the UFC, though.
Yeah, probably. I know how he does it.
Yeah, I mean, it shows a lack of discipline, but if the guy's enjoying his life, I'm not going to hate on it too much. But, like, fuck, it's going to do him some fucking harm in the future. Yeah. Then another fight I would like to see is a fight with, I don't know, would you fight Dan Hooker?
Yeah, I mean, if they they send the contract, then of course, but they wouldn't. I don't see them, matching, Anzacs against Anzacs, So I don't see that fight happening. But obviously, if they sent it my way, then of course I'll accept. I won't say no to anybody.
Yeah, for sure. Then another fight I'd love to see you versus Renato Moicano.
Money Moicano.
Yeah, Money Moicano.
Yeah, I like him there. He's cool.
Yeah. I like him as well.
Yeah. The talking now, all his interviews, and he's quite a funny dude. And
I love his
style. He has a fun style to watch as well.
Yeah, I loved his interview after the Dover fight. The Money Moicano. He's like, I'm going to be a police officer. I'm going to shoot the bad guys. Moicano want money. Like, it's so funny.
It's awesome. Like, the broken English just makes it, 10 times better.
Yeah. I was talking about how his dad's just had a baby. He says, I'm going to go home. I'm going to impregnate my wife.
Yeah. Can't let his dad show him up. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just a fucking funny guy. And then also, obviously, I want to see, Michael Johnson. I'm looking at a lot of these veteran fights. I'd love to see you versus a lot of these veteran type guys.
Yeah. I could see that fight happening in the future. Usually they match up, the young up and comers with the veterans as like a let's say, passing of the torch, and as like a test to see if if you can get past this guy, then you're ready for the next level.
Yeah, like Rafa. Do you know who Rafa Garcia is?
Nah.
Okay, so he's like he beat Clay Guida, I think, in his last fight or 2 fights ago. He's like I think he's from Mexico. He's really high paced fighter. He fights at a really crazy pace. I'd love to see that fight for you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see you versus like another guy with a crazy high pace, because I reckon that just make the best fights for you. Because every other fight, I feel like your pace, you have a lot of like you have weaponized pace. I feel like that's the best way to describe your style.
Yeah. Yeah. I fight with no worry about fighting tired. So even though I still think about efficiency, like I don't try to get tired. Like I'm not like overexerting myself, but I'm not fighting. Yeah, at the same time, I know like I'm not afraid of putting in the work in the fights and getting to that point of getting tired. Because I do get tired, but it just seems my opponents just get more tired than me. So
yeah, you see that a lot. Like I mean, it's like Dricus du Plessis. He looks like he's tired in a lot of his fights, but it's just because he's pushing such a high pace at people like that, they seem to gas out more than he does.
It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I find. I know if I'm tired in the fight, I know my opponent is more tired than me. So I'll always think that.
Yeah, that's the perfect way to look at it. Yeah, I'm just gonna ask one last question. I promise this is it, and then you can go. But I just want to get your prediction for the fight between Charles Oliveira and Arman Tsarukyan, and the fight between Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway.
And prediction. My heart wants to go with Oliveira. I love Charles Oliveira. Everything about him, his style. What he says is my heart says Charles, Gaethje, and fucking Holloway. That's a good. I think Gaethje comes through with that one. Yeah. That's a bit more like. Yeah, that's a bit more like I do believe. I believe that Gaethje will beat Holloway more than I believe like Charles will beat Arman.
Yeah, I look at it that way.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time as well, and thank you for joining me for this interview. I really appreciate it.
No, all good, man. Thanks for having me on, Ben. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, is there any? You want to shout out any sponsors or anything like that, or shout just anyone in general?
I just want to shout my coach and my team at LCA, Lucia Combat Academy. Everyone there is like that's my family right there, and also Jasmine Addict Sports, my manager. She does everything. Without her, I would be nothing right now. She makes my life just smooth. There'll be a lot more bumps and nooks and crannies without her.
Yeah, absolutely. She's one of the nicest people in the world as well. Like working in such a cutthroat business as well, and she's still one of the nicest. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining me. And if you guys want to follow Quillan's Instagram it's just Quillan Salkilld, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Just my name.
Yep. And it is Salkilld, right? It's not Salkilld.
Yeah, Salkilld. Yep, that's it.
Okay, yeah, because the commentator on Eternal, the Matthew guy, he kept calling you Salkilld.
Yeah, they don't pronounce the first L, but it's all right. Yeah. I'm used to it.
Yeah, I'm happy with myself because I've been actually calling you the right name. I thought I was calling you the wrong name.
Perfect, man.
Perfect, yeah. All right. Well,
Sweet,
all right. Well, thank you for joining me, man. I appreciate it.
All good. Thanks, Benny. Catch ya.